Hello and welcome to Freedom and Four Paws, the show where we hear inspiring stories from amazing people travelling the world and living their best life, often with their pets in tow.
From slow mads to digital nomads, house and pet sitters, expats and families with their dogs on the road. In this podcast, find out how travel can truly set you free. Hello, it's Cooper and Sarah from the Freedom and Four Paws podcast. And in today's episode, we're chatting to Mandy and Lee, or better known as the Frugal Travellers. Now, they've got an amazing story, 100 plus countries. They've been traveling for over 30 years, so a wealth of experience.
Bit jealous.
Please tell us about your story so far.
Well, I'm from New Zealand, Lee's from the UK, and we actually met whilst trekking in Nepal in 1996. We met on Valentine's Day, and we first kissed on Leap Year's Day. And it was so lovely. Like, we were actually featured in like a CNN CNN travel chance encounters story, because of which is so lovely. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, and we were trekking with two friends at the time, and we're still friends with them. So it's just lovely. 26 years later.
That was the beginning of a future of travel together. We're both really passionate about our travel. So after that, we went back to the UK, and basically over the last 26 years since then, we've spent 50% of our time living and working in Australia, New Zealand and the UK, and the other 50% with a backpack on our back, just slowly traveling around the world.
Love it.
But we actually retired in our 40s in 2017. We've been living in Perth, Australia, and so we've been traveling since then. Yeah, since August 2017.
So, Mandy and Lee, you said you meet while trekking through Nepal. Did your journey begin from that time onwards and you just stay together?
Yes. Well, the amazing thing was I was actually on my way to the UK, to Birmingham, to stay with a school friend from New Zealand. And Lee is from Coventry, which is like 20 miles down the road. Because normally travel relationships are sort of, you meet
they don't
someone.
work because you go in opposite directions. Yeah. But we were going the same way. So it was totally fated.
This is so lovely. It was absolutely fated. I just love it. And I love that it's really cool to meet other couples who are, so passionate about travel and you've made travel your lifestyle. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I feel a little bit guilty because we have these plans as well, and you talk to other people and they're always like, oh, you're so brave, or you're so lucky, or it's like, no, it's a choice, isn't it? But you've got to give permission to embrace it.
And sacrifices are made in order to do that. It's not all cocktails and swimming pools, that's for sure.
Never for us. Never. But I would never feel guilty about it. Like, travel is, if people like traveling, like I have members of my family who aren't into traveling at all. They like doing other things, and that's perfectly fine.
The main thing is you choose what you are passionate about and you follow that, don't you, in life?
Yes.
And what I love about your story is, I've been looking at your website and your YouTube channel. A lot of people think when you're traveling the world, you need to be extremely wealthy, but you've proven you don't need to do that, or have lots of money in the bank to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we try to stick to a budget of around $25 a day each, which is around, I'm not too sure, let's say 30 Australian dollars. I mean, often we do spend way less. Like, Lee actually made a video showing how much we spent whilst house sitting in Portugal for 1 year. Yeah. And there was like a big announcement at the end. Should I tell you now anyway?
Yeah, it came in at under $7 a day per person. Yeah. Because we were... we were static, really, just going from house sit to house sit, and we weren't flying all over the world like we normally do. This was post-COVID kind of, sort of slow travel mode.
Yeah, beautiful. Now, you've brought up house sitting there, and we do talk a lot about house and pet sitting on this channel and on this show.
Wonderful.
How did you discover house and pet sitting? How long ago was it, or was it far into your travels?
Well, we were both raised with pets. Like, I lived on a farm in New Zealand when I was a kid, so we had cows and sheep and pigs for a while, and we had cats and dogs. Yeah. And my grandparents had chickens, and Lee was raised with cats.
I'm a city boy, so just a cat in the house. Yeah.
But so we've always loved animals. And then when we were living in Australia, in Perth, friends actually asked us to house sit for them, or friends of friends asked us to look after
it happened
2 cats.
organically, didn't it? It kind of, people asked us to do it and we did it and really enjoyed it. And then Mandy told people at work, and work friends says, oh, we need house sitters. Can you come and do it for us? So we started doing it for friends. And then we realised...
Well, we joined a Facebook group as well.
Yeah.
And then got loads of house sits in like the local area.
In the local community. We were living in a shared house and...
to save money.
With like 5 or 6 other people. We had some Chinese students there and stuff like that. And sometimes we wanted a bit of time out for ourselves. So it was a great opportunity and have some pet time at other places and have some free time for ourselves.
Suddenly have like our own house for a bit and like have wonderful pets. And because we kept doing repeat sits as well. Like we seem to fall into that thing about repeat sits over and over again.
And we did join up to a group, a platform, Mind a Home in Australia.
Yes.
And we ended up the last 3 months that we were before we left, we realised we could do this full time. So we actually left our rented accommodation and just house sat for 3 months solid and saved ourselves quite a bit of money in rent.
While still working full time as well.
Yeah.
So, but it was amazing how much we could save by doing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You said earlier that you retired in your 40s, but you obviously do other things now. Tell us a little bit about, and we'll talk about the YouTube channel soon, but you do create videos, but do you do other work or produce content, or what kind of things do you do while you're traveling and working, or do you bring in income?
We're both very frugal-minded, which is why the name for our channel and everything was absolutely spot on, because we've always when we lived in Australia, like we were in Perth for 5.5 years, and like Lee actually had a savings graph. He wanted to save us, and he like drew a line to like show how much he'd saved, and like was super excited when he like surpassed that. And we'd like naturally do like we had a car, but we cycled everywhere, and we always ate cheaply, ate out using the entertainment book, for example, in Australia, like to get buy one, get one free, all that sort of stuff. So when we left, we did have enough money. Yeah,
as a result of that we have a small passive income, which isn't great, but it's enough to sustain us if we keep things up. We're getting a little bit of money from YouTube as well.
There's this lovely platform called Buy Me a Coffee, where viewers can, if they want, they can like sign up and like buy it. We set it at like £1, because we were living in Portugal at the time, and you can easily get a nice coffee for €1. Right? So, and even my mum bought us 5 coffees, which was so lovely.
Oh, that is awesome.
Coupons or vouchers, and no, it's just thank you, Mo.
So if we keep doing the house sitting as well as traveling, and we can keep the cost down, and we can keep going full on. We also have done Workaway as well, haven't we? Which is I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's a similar thing. You work 4 hours a day in return for accommodation and food, like running a hostel or helping out on a farm or that kind of thing, which is really good fun.
I think it was like €49 to join for a couple. It may have gone up a little bit more. But yes, Lee said it's normally working between, say, 4 to 5 hours a day, roughly 5 days a week. And it sort of replaced the old woof, the organic farming thing. But Workaway, it's incredible. It's an amazing thing to do. But in terms of like, creating revenue, we're sort of comfortable with simple means. So we could go really into affiliate marketing, and we could do all this sort of stuff, and we keep meaning to, but I think we sign up and then don't actually.
It was kind of a hobby thing as much as anything, wasn't it? Which is kind of growing with that.
Excellent.
Yeah. But so we don't do
so. Why there's nothing to fix. It's not broken. So
exactly.
Frugal travellers. I know sometimes when Sarah and I are out and about, if we're lucky enough to be travelling, we always find sometimes we get a little bit competitive. Oh, we might have a budget of say £30-40 a day. Then one day we might spend 12 or 15. Then we're like, oh, let's see what we can spend tomorrow and try. It becomes a bit of a game for us, and we're sort of challenging.
See, that's brilliant. That's so cool. We're quite.
We have to force ourselves to spend money sometimes. We'll have lots of days where we're well under budget, and so we'll try and push the boat out, but we struggle to kind of do that. We
genuinely struggle. We have like special things like anniversaries or birthdays even.
Where we make ourselves spend more.
We say we're going to spend more, but we end up still going and finding the cheapest like menu del dia or, menu of the day.
That's really cool. Like you've got the mindset now, and so you don't need to spend a lot. Plus, I think, I don't know if you're like us with things like birthdays or anniversaries, but we put our energy and our money or savings into travel and experiences. So we, super presents, and that is our present.
Exactly.
Totally. Yeah.
We had a thing for a while when we were working back in, I think it started when we were working in the UK in like 2006. And it was like, instead of buying each other presents, we'd give each other £100 for Christmas. And if you didn't spend it all, you'd have to give it back to the remaining bit back to the other person.
Force you to spend it. Yeah.
But we don't even do that anymore because we don't really need a lot. We don't.
Our needs and wants are very low, really. It's freedom to travel is the big one for us. So
exactly.
And that's what it's all about, freedom. And you can go out from these small towns or these big cities. If you go 100 meters from the main centre, you can find some lovely little family-run businesses, and the food is nice for €5 instead of paying 55 euros. And they're
the best ones,
mix of the locals.
Yes, totally. That's exactly it.
We always like wander around and like try and see where the locals are going, and like the local workers as well, and follow the guys in high vis to where they're going for lunch, and they're the good price and good value places.
That's an excellent tip. I'm wondering, you two are obviously avid travelers and experienced travelers, and you've mentioned your house sitting and the work away. Recently on the Facebook group that you're part of and that we run around house and pet sitting, there was a post, an Australian, you probably saw it because she's been in the media as well. There was a post by an Aussie who I think she was refused entry to America.
Yes.
Because she said she was going into house sit, but she didn't have a working visa. And apparently a few people have had this issue recently where if you don't use the right wording, or if you get very unlucky, you can get picked up by what's it called? Customs for working. And some people were even saying, and because you sparked my memory with the workaway, just an exchange of, services, they class that as working. Have you got any experience or advice for travelers or people who are worried about it? Are we best to just kind of stick with the places that we actually do have the ability to work in, or is it just about being careful when you're traveling? Do you have any insight into this?
For me personally, I would simply say tourist.
Yeah.
Because there's no money exchanging hands. We don't receive any payment at all. It's free accommodation in return for looking after pets. Yeah. And workaway, it's labour, your time and labour in exchange for accommodation, food. So I'd say tourist. Because in between the house sits and the workaway, we will be tourists. We will be sightseeing and going to places. So
we're pretty much looking after a home for a friend here. As far as we're concerned, we tend to become
actually genuinely.
Yeah, we tend to become good friends with the people we house sit for. And we've got this house sit in Abu Dhabi through that situation.
The house sit in Portugal.
So if they'd have asked at immigration, we would have said we're visiting and staying with friends, which is true.
Yeah, keep it safe.
Yeah, I know it's going to be hard to narrow it down just to one, Mandy and Lee. I've seen over 100 countries. God knows how many house sits and how many adventures you've been on. I've looked on your website and you've stayed in yurts, huts, tree houses. Is there one sit that really stands out for you both? Was that too hard?
In Portugal, the Quinta, do you think?
The Quinta was an amazing experience.
A Quinta in Portugal is a farm, basically, or a small, small holding, Yeah. And we stayed on one that was out in the Serra da Estrela in the mountains, a beautiful place. And they were self-sufficient off-grid, so it was a fantastic experience, wasn't it? We were not only looking after their three cats, 4 dogs.
2 dogs.
Sorry, 2 dogs.
I know Bella's quite enthusiastic, but 3 cats and 2 dogs.
22 chickens.
Yeah, and a rooster.
And also
chicks.
Tending their garden, which was
enormous garden.
Garden of Eden with plenty of fresh organic vegetables available. It was quite a lot of work, but it was really good fun. We learned a lot from it.
So things like compost toilet and the amazing solar shower bag they had, which was that was incredible.
And it was harvest time in summer, so we're having an abundance of all this food available to us that we were growing there. That was that was a really interesting, different kind of set than the usual sort of urban city set, you know.
And also one of the last ones we had in Portugal, we looked after 5 rats. And and 2 dogs. We'd never looked after house rats before, and they were so lovely. We'd take them upstairs and do free roaming with them, and the girls just loved like crawling up your sleeves. You had to get them separate,
or down your trouser leg.
You're up your trouser leg,
Wow.
because they're like the dark spaces, and they were so lovely.
Initially, we were a bit sceptical, weren't we? To be honest, you know. But then when we saw the pictures and we met them, we just fell in love with them.
They're gorgeous.
Oh my God! Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. Okay, memorable. Those stories fit definitely.
I look forward to following that one on YouTube. So now you have a YouTube channel, which is fantastic. You've got so much information.
Done really well. Congratulations.
Tell us about that. How did you get into it? And what do you think the purpose is for you? What's the purpose of your YouTube channel?
Well, we started the YouTube channel. Well, when we left Australia in August 2017, we were writing like long Facebook posts. And then after a while, sort of realised the family and friends, they weren't really that interested in, they wanted to see the photos. They're not really interested in like budget travel aspect. And 2 separate friends actually said, why don't you start a blog? And we didn't know what a blog was. But so when we were in Hong Kong on the 2nd of April, Lee went to the beach. 2018. And I signed up for a blog and luckily and found the name Frugal Travellers. Because when we were actually in Brisbane a few years ago, we stayed with a school friend of mine and we were telling her our story and she said, oh my word, this book's for you guys. And it was, I don't know if I can mention things. The last 2 words were frugal hedonism. And we read through this book. It was written by some Aussies. I think they're from Perth. But they're the last 2 words. Frugal. Okay, so the art of frugal hedonism. I don't know. And it's like, oh my God, apart from foraging, it is us. And so that was in my mind. Like I tried lots of different names for the website, and Frugal Travellers, spelt the English way with 2 L's, Travellers, it was still available. So I quickly signed up, and I got the YouTube channel and Facebook and Instagram.
We concentrated on the blog at first, but we found it wasn't really us the writing aspect.
Well, I love writing, but you have to do all this like, you know, SEO, and you've got to write a certain way for the algorithm.
Just writing anymore.
Exactly. I didn't enjoy that side of it.
We enjoyed YouTube videoing, so we fell more into doing the YouTube. And
when we were in lockdown in Krakow, and because March 2020, when the world closed, we were in Krakow in Poland, and you said, like, I'm not writing any more blog posts, and we concentrated on YouTube from then on.
And the purpose of the YouTube channel, like you asked, is basically to give out all of this travel information that we have with all of our experience on budget travel, and help other people to realize how possible it is to travel the world on a low budget
and independently, and like embracing slow travel as well, because we have had, like I'm sure you have had as well, people say like, how can you afford to travel? How do you know like what to do, where to go? You know, where do you get your information from? And we get most of our information from, it used to be guidebooks in the old days, and now it is blogs ourselves and vlogs like through YouTube and Facebook groups. And we just really wanted to like pay that back as well, pay it forward, as they say, and to help other people, but to see how easy it is, as Lee said, to actually travel on a budget and to be independent. Because we've actually had a lot of feedback from people like our age, like early 50s, who they've decided to retire early, or they've decided to take, you know, a few years off work, and they've gone through the conventional route of university, family, the kids have grown up, and so they're more used to, like, you know, your 2-week package holiday somewhere, and
and they're not sure how to do things independently, you know. So
we get a lot of really good feedback from those viewers, etc., and we've made some really good friends from it as well, who really appreciate seeing exactly like how we do it.
Well, you're changing people's lives, aren't you? Inspiring, you know, even if you can just inspire one person to follow in the steps. And you appreciate the freedom that they're now experiencing thanks to leading by example. We feel the same way. If we can just share a little bit of knowledge and show people who don't see or don't believe that it's possible, that it totally is.
Because a lot of people are too shy to take that big step, aren't they?
Yes, exactly.
And there's a lot of how-to videos out there like your YouTube channel, so people now can sit down, watch, and see you guys actually living, breathing.
It's relatable too.
You can do this.
The nuts and bolts on how to book a cheap flight, or, you know, how to find budget accommodation, and how to get around for a low-cost all those things.
Yes, because what we've noticed with YouTube is, like, if the algorithm loves you, you'll do really well. We're okay. We get a certain amount of views, but sometimes if you pour your heart and soul into making a video and it takes 20 hours and you get like 1,000 views, it's like I remind myself, as you said, if you help one person, you get one heartfelt comment, and it is so wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And the other thing that I like about YouTube that we've started to notice over time is that, that content, it's not lost. Where I was reading something recently about platforms like TikTok, for example, which can have huge engagement for a few days, and that's fun, but it's not searchable. Whereas YouTube, someone could be looking for your content in 5-10 years time and pop that search in, and your content's still there helping people. And so it's like it's serving a purpose over time and racking up views over time. Yay.
Which is wonderful.
Mandy,
it's nice when you get a comment from, like a video from 2 years ago and someone still watched it, and that you can help someone cross a border somewhere.
And when you see those comments, you still get a nice feeling inside, don't you? Think, someone's taking time to view my content. Now, you mentioned, Mandy, you said sometimes we get that same feeling. You might spend 20 hours editing. I don't think people realize the time it takes to put together the YouTube channel that you're producing. How do you find that balance between storytelling, content creation, as well as putting down the camera and actually being mindful of where you are and having
fun?
I have always been really into taking loads of photos and videos, even before we started the channel. That's why we've got stuff from 2017 that we were able to use for a video once it actually made the channel in 2018. But poor Lee, he does get a little bit frustrated at me. And we've heard, especially lately, he's felt a little bit burnt out occasionally. It's like, do we really have to take the damn camera? So then we don't take the
I do that to him, Lee. Yeah. I do that to him. Oh, what are we doing it again for?
But then something amazing happens and I don't have a GoPro, and I'm like, oh man, so I'm going to take it all the time now. I've learned that. So because it's not just, even if I don't use the footage, Lee's the one who's the most motivated to make the videos. He does, we're supposed to be 50-50, but he's faster than me. He's more organized than me.
I'm trying to sort of, get it down to a fine art. I'm lucky if it's 10 hours to edit a video, but the last few days, we went to Dubai for 4 days, and it was a manic time. We were on our feet for 12 hours a day. It was fantastic. And this was like filling in a bit of time before we started this house sit in Abu Dhabi. And we had an amazing time. We videoed so much stuff, but it takes 10 hours to make a video. And someone asked the question, oh, great, when are we going to see the Dubai footage? And it's like, there aren't enough hours in the day to do this. But now we're going to be house sitting for 2 weeks in Abu Dhabi, and we can slow down and sit down and relax and make videos. So slow travel is the answer to making this work, to have a little bit of intense travel, and then have some time out house sitting in order to work on the videos. That's the balance we want to try and get.
Slow travel. We met a couple before. They used the word slow mads. We thought, I really like that. I think it's really important that you do step back, take a couple of days just to recharge the batteries, because it can become a job and becoming quite tedious, and you feel you get burnt out. Totally. You're like, go, and just want to take a step back. What's on the horizon for you two in the future? What do you got planned for 2023?
It's quite exciting, isn't it? Yeah, because we've been fairly static in Portugal for 2 years. A couple of years, and now it feels like we're spreading our wings and flying again, aren't we?
Because we did a lot of overland travel for 3.5 years, crossing like the Eurasian continent. 15 countries overland in that period, from Kyrgyzstan to, I don't know, Armenia to, but now we're starting to fly again. So when we leave Abu Dhabi, we're going to go to Kuwait and Saudi Arabia and fly from Bahrain on the early February to Thailand.
We're basically using this Abu Dhabi house as a springboard to see some of the Middle East, which is exciting. After Bahrain, we're flying to Bangkok for a couple of weeks. We haven't been there since 2009, so we're really excited about that. To go and eat some fantastic food, and then back to New Zealand to see family for a couple of months.
Finally, because I haven't been home. We haven't been back to NZ for it'll be 4 years. Yeah, because of COVID, etc. And then other things.
That's really exciting. A visit to Perth to see more family in Australia. And then we're coming back to the Middle East to house sit. So we're going to stop off. We're planning to stop off in Sri Lanka, maybe the Maldives as well, and see if budget travellers can handle the Maldives for a couple of weeks.
Challenge.
That'll be a challenge. Yeah.
That one.
Wizz Air now fly the European budget airline. They're flying from Europe to Abu Dhabi as a base, and there's a lot of Middle Eastern destinations, so you can get cheap flights out to some of these places.
Sri Lanka and Maldives.
So it's an opportunity for us to get to some of these places, which is really good. Then after the Abu Dhabi house sit, a little bit more in the Middle East, and then flying back to Portugal to do two repeat house sits in Portugal for 3 months.
The Huskies and Tilly the cat.
And
then we're not too sure, December, January, February, we'll have 3 months off, back to Portugal for a repeat house sit for 2 months. And then we've got 5 months, and we're not too sure what we're going to do then. Either go back to Africa to see some of the countries we haven't seen in West Africa, or to Central America. We're not too sure.
These plans are a little bit fluid at the moment, but we've got some regular house sits to go back to, so we're going to fit in the travel in between the house sits, like we say.
I feel like we should have just asked you what you're doing in 2024, guys.
I'm listening to you.
Oh,
me too.
You really are both vibrant and lovely, and I found that in our interactions with you on email and in person, or on video, you are even lovelier. So hopefully we'll run into you in our travels in actual person one day. So we will absolutely be checking out all of your videos on the Frugal Travellers on YouTube, and you're all over other social media if anyone wants to follow your travels, which I'm sure they will.
We are on Facebook and Instagram, and it's Frugal Travellers with 2 L's in Travellers, which is the English way of saying it, because Americans spell it with 1 L. So, just to let them know that. But YouTube is the main source, isn't it? It's the one where we're putting most content out.
Yeah, because our poor website, frugaltravellers.com, it's sort of been a bit neglected.
Yeah, by the way, sorry.
YouTube it is.
Look out for a friend request on Facebook.
Excellent.
That's so wonderful.
It'll be great. Pleasure.
Thank you so much for what you two do with your podcast and with the Facebook group. Thank you. It's so lovely. We really appreciate being asked, being invited onto the show. Thank you so much.
I think we're all coming at it from the same angle, and that we just want to inspire others to do the same thing. So thank you, team. Definitely see you again soon.
Brilliant.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us on the Freedom and Four Paws podcast. This production has been inspired by our awesome Facebook community. Join the group by searching Pets and House Sitting, Travel and Digital Nomads, or find the group via the link on our Facebook page, Travel, Live, Learn.
This podcast is brought to you by TRAVELLIVELEARN.com. Visit the site today to find out more about this podcast, access show notes, and sign up to our mailing list for free house and pet sitting application templates, guides, and a 25% off registration code for trusted house sitters.
If you love this content and want more of it, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or your favourite podcast service. You can find us on YouTube too. Look up Travel, Live, Learn. Until next time, give your pet a pat from us and say yes to that next adventure.